I absolutely love that promo where Cactus is being all like respect of Terry and like, you know, I've beat him Tiger Jeep. You're back!
Hello and welcome back to the only wrestling podcast that exclusively rebooks, reviews and reimagines the worst of wrestling's past. We are Better Call Creative and as ever I am joined to my left by Headhunter 1.
Yeah.
It's Jack Chance. And to my left, bringing his dog on a horse to the ring, it's Sam Chance. See, I swerved him.
You did, yes. I thought you was going to call us the squat team.
Squat one.
Why did they have to
Squat
name?
Because Vince loves it.
Why call them squat?
I wish they were still doing, you know, the old style Vince Royal Rumble. Squat one.
Squat. They squat 2 like 10 down the line.
Yeah. Just teasing the idea that it might just be squat one.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I am your host, Ben Chance, and if that doesn't give you an idea, probably won't, as to what we're reviewing today, we are checking out Sam's Nightmare. It's the world of hardcore wrestling, but probably not as terrible choices you could have had. You could have had Bloody Mania. This could be XPW and all that sort of
It's
stuff.
all the same shit.
Yes, it probably is.
It's got a few good people on it.
Yes, but we're going back to 1995 and
What a time.
August
What a
20th.
time.
This was a massive tape trader thing, wasn't it? This sort of started the world of tape.
Considered the greatest, or the birth of sort of the deathmatch boom, shall we say?
Yeah, it's
the business
it's
went
really
shit.
strange that it. Well, we'll talk about it later on, but it's strange that it is. Because, I mean, there is hardcore gore in it. Well, I mean, by the time we get to the main event, that arena is full. Like, it's absolutely full, which is madness for the quality of the card that led up to it. But we'll get there. We are going back, yes, to the 20th of August 1995, and this is a juxtaposition, isn't it? You've got hardcore wrestling, people bleeding for entertainment, and the UK number one, Never Forget by Take That.
Come along with it. Here comes Tiger Jeep. Sword in his mouth.
And everybody bloody Tiger Jeep. It's your fault for Tiger Alley, you see.
No, I'm sorry. I think he's a boy by the end of this podcast. What mainly because did you get that promo at the start? That promo at the start where he just swears is just a thing of beauty. Waterfalls by TLC was the US number one. I mean, it was the Aussies who had a shocker in this one. But before we get to Aussies, the Canadians went with "I'll Be There For You," which is Friends, isn't it? Rembrandt?
Oh, yeah.
I'll be there for
One told you that.
That was the Headhunters.
for this.
That was the Headhunters. That was their entrance.
That bloke with a fucking tax in his head.
When he's vomiting in the sink.
Oh, Terry Funk, when he realised I was NWA champ, and then he got up to that. What am I doing here?
The Aussie number one was by a band called Jan Arden. Jan Arden. Yeah.
Never heard.
And the song was called Insensitive. I have no idea. Absolute shocker by the Aussies. I hope it's brilliant because they need to keep the streak up because.
It could be one of them. It's like obviously if Aussies think about like our number ones, but we know it because they're only famous in that country.
They weren't having Take That, Never Forget. That's sang by bloody Jason Orange, isn't it? Edward, sorry, Edward. But the box office was topped quite aptly by Mortal Kombat.
No. The first one. It's back, not the second one, because the second one was so shit that they cancelled the third.
Mortal Kombat, reimagined in this world by being headlined by Greg. Obviously.
And if you don't get that, listen to our collection podcast.
Send back.
I assume that's coming out before this.
It will be, yes. The video games that were released this week were on Mega Drive. It was It was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie.
The movie game.
You played that. You probably completed it, didn't you?
I think so. Yeah, we would have played. I would have played it. I saw them film a few times.
No, well, you're a weird boy.
Yeah, I think he's in this tournament.
Well, when I had my long beard, that's what people at work used to call me Ivan Oops.
Yeah, I can see that. You would have been reimagined on a podcast or two as Ivan Oops. The world of football then.
I thought you said fuck the world.
Fuck the world. Fuck the world title.
Fuck the world of football. Albion lost again.
We was only 2 weeks into the season, but West Bromwich Albion played Molineux at Molineux, the first away game. We never lose at Molineux, do we ever? We never lose at Molineux.
You lost.
No, we didn't. We drew 1-1 with Wolves. Bob Taylor opening the scoring. I think Steve Bull might have equalised.
Super Bob.
I'm going to say that's really early for that derby to be played.
Yeah, they used to do that though. We always used to play them like within the first 5 or 6.
Get it out of the way.
Get it out of the way, yeah. No one enjoyed them. Liverpool, though, they had a shocker. It's going to be a bad podcast for you, Sam.
Is it Bolton?
No, they lost to Leeds 1-0 at home. First
Leeds.
home game of the season.
It's awful.
Terrible. Roy Evans out. That's what I say. Roy Evans.
Oh, hell.
Before Gerrard did the
Gerrard did
the coup and took over. Good old
Who
Gerrard.
Who did Roy Evans take off?
Souness, I think it was Souness. Jesus Christ.
We went from...
Good luck with taking over from him.
Roy Evans, he's definitely like the substitute when you're waiting for the proper teachers.
Yeah.
You've got him in the middle.
Yeah, definitely. He's the Alan Pardew of that world. But obviously, I wanted to check out the juxtaposition of what was going on in WWF at the time.
What about WCW?
Well, they didn't run house shows, unfortunately, so there was no other show of WCW. I did check, but there was a house show.
Nitro yet, was there?
No, I think that's one of the things Bischoff did, though, wasn't it? Sort of cancelled the house show.
Because he wanted to make money.
He says, we can't keep sending out Greg.
He's too precious to us, damn it.
You can't risk injury. The WWF did run a house show, though. Do you want to know the results? Are you ready? There's one match especially that will confuse you because of an earlier match. It's a bit confusing for me, really. But the opener, you start off hot. Fatu beat Hakushi. So you get that out of the way.
Does it make a difference, Fatu?
Gotta be.
He would have been at this point.
Gotta be. Savio Vega then beat Radford. So, that blood feud sorted.
I mean, if you take out the gimmicks, they ain't too bad. Lewis McCauley v Savio Vega.
Most of the...
Sounds alright, Fatu.
Well, ironically, I think the standard of work gets worse as you go through the card. Hunter Helmsley beat 1-2-3 Kid.
Oh, what a surprise.
So the Kid must have still been a heel.
He was a face. Because at SummerSlam he fought Hakushi, did he?
Yes, because we watched that.
Yeah, because we watched it, and Triple H fought Bob Holly.
Fabulous. Cam Cornette, or Owen Hart and Yokozuna defeated the allied powers of Luger and Bulldog.
I wonder if that was the show where Owen decided not to go up for Luger, and then when Bulldog got him, he was pressing him up.
Well, this was not long before Bulldog turned heel, wasn't he? But he
Luger
surprisingly didn't even turn on Luger, he turned on Diesel.
Yeah.
And then, this is the strange result of the night. Savio Vega, you might have heard that name before, defeated Sid by DQ.
I would assume Savio subbed for somebody, probably.
It just seems strange that he subbed and then 2 he beat Sid, who was the main event.
Well, he was supposed to be in the ladder.
He was supposed to have the ladder match with Sean at SummerSlam, and Sean went, I am not carrying that big fucker to a ladder match. Give me Razor.
More unsure.
I'll fight Savio instead.
Bam Bam. Savio substituting for Sean at No Way Out.
Well, one of the things that Vince recognised is the need for a hardcore match because Bam Bam beat Tatanka in a strap match.
A strap match?
Yeah, because in 95, I think that at the time they had the most ladder matches because they just kept putting them on because they realised we need to get people here.
Well, that's a strap match.
Yeah, no, but that's what I mean. They had more gimmick matches in the house shows.
Well, the main event, like I say, the quality of the card goes downhill a little bit. I mean, one side is Diesel and Shaw, and the other side is King Mabel and Samoa.
Who?
And Sermo.
Oh, Sermo.
Yeah,
Men on a mission,
men on
selling out the arena is Mo. Thanks for the house, brother.
I wonder who took the pin and who took the powerbomb.
Well, that's true, but I just wonder how much Mo got, because he's in the main event, so he should have got more than Camp Cornette.
Mo got paid.
We had a great one.
Well, Mabel was feuding with Diesel at this point. That's the. Oh, you sure? Is that before or after SummerSlam?
It's a week before, 28th of August is SummerSlam, so this is a week before one of the worst SummerSlams.
What was Razor doing? Was he on that show?
No, he wasn't on the show, no. Well, I can imagine what Razor was doing. But, yeah, we'll leave it.
Unless he was the one that was supposed to fight Sid and they had Savio because he was sort of his mate.
Maybe, yeah, it could have been that. It could very well have been that, actually. But yes, so that was what was happening in the US and the WWF. But we're checking out what was happening over in Japan. So we're watching the DVD rip, which is on YouTube. There's a couple of DVD rips on YouTube, I think.
Glad we don't have to watch the one with the Insane Clown Posse commentary.
No one wants to watch that at all. Obviously, there's nothing we can do about it, but all the matches
nothing we can do about it, but we've watched it.
Well, all the matches that aren't in the tournament, other than the NWA World Title match, has been condensed down to the highlights, and I used that.
There was two pre-show matches,
especially for one of the matches when they just shoved masks on two fat men.
Match.
Worst thing I've ever seen.
There was two pre-show though.
Yeah, there was two pre-shows, and you know who was in the pre-show?
I did kind of look at the card because I wanted to put the matches.
Hari Tajiri.
Was he?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, put him in the mask.
Yeah.
He'd have been alright.
Oh, Christ, one of them in the mask. Because I don't fucking know what's going on.
He is amazing. I love him.
That hip toss thing that he does.
That should have been Glacier. We all know it.
Well, one of them's called Iceman.
Exactly.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. It opens with a highlight package of the Kawasaki Dream. And so we see the package of the matches about to come, which is and we also see children, queuing to watch men murder each other on in live.
It's Japan.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It is.
Over there. No offense to Japan, but weird.
The stadium is absolutely massive.
It's a baseball stadium, because they like baseball over there. You know, I think it's like the second most popular sport over there.
Yeah, probably behind sumo. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. It's not quite Wembley Stadium full, but it's a very, very big arena, and by the end, yeah, exactly.
Big show.
I don't think Grado wanted anything of this. By the end, I think it's fairly full. In fairness to him, we see the competitors looking pensive, and we go straight to an opening package of Get the Shit in the Ring. Let's tell everyone what's to come tonight. So here we go. We start with Tiger Jeet Singh, who enters on the back of an open bus.
This is fucking Ernie's car. He's on a milk float.
He's on a milk float with a sword in his teeth. Leatherface enters, wielding a chainsaw and scaring the children.
You know that was Leatherface? Corporal Kirchner.
Yeah. We watched him at WrestleMania 2, haven't we? Didn't he?
Yeah, he fought Nikolai. He was like because he was meant to be in the Gimmick Battle Royal as well.
Corporal Leatherface.
No,
that's
a Japan gimmick, but then they realised they've got Slaughter, who was a better army gimmick.
Yeah, of course, yeah. No one knows or remembers Kurt. No one's going to be crying in the crowd, but I remember it when I was a kid.
Well, he was on the graphic initially on one of the shows. You had him in the corner.
That's just because he was cheap.
Yeah, and apparently the Chancellor Charlie gimmick was...
well, of course, we obviously sadly lost Terry Funk. This is our sort of love letter to Terry Funk, who's definitely one of the better performers on this show. But he was, without a shadow of a doubt, middle-aged and crazy because he enters on the back of a white horse. And I'm sure that was his idea.
Was that his sick horse from 93?
Yeah.
He's alright, yeah.
Get him in that night outfit.
Vince would have gone, right, you can put the mask on now. Yeah. Take that off. Is that the one he smacked in the promo? Have you ever saw that?
I have seen him, yeah. He's fucking mad, Rory. He's just so brilliant, though. I mean, he was literally that character all the way through his career.
He is a boy, eh?
Terry Funk. He's just so good. Cactus Jack is carrying a barbed wire cross, so Kurt Angle, who was going to sign for IWA, was...
I think that's a picture... Don't they use that on a WF magazine? The ones with Cactus, where
Possibly.
he's
I know he's quite
obviously he would have owned the thing. But later on, we do see that cross in a promo for somebody else, against the wall.
You'll have to remind me of that. I don't think I made a note.
I can't remember which promo it is, so I made a note of it. I just remember seeing the promo and then seeing the cross in the background.
Brilliant. Hiroshi Ono probably just comes out in a sash, basically.
No.
Yeah.
No. Chris Hero.
So Shoji Nakamaki. He brings his dog to work, which is just wonderful. A wonderful
sight. Can someone look after my dog?
He comes out in flip-flops, a sash, a big Japanese robe, and his dog. It's just brilliant. He looks like he's woken up. He should just have a fag hanging out his mouth. Just brilliant.
So what we doing? What am I doing today?
Okay.
What's all this barbed wire?
Oh, bloody hell.
I bought my dog, I caught it.
Don't give him ideas. He's taking the power bomb, that dog.
Oh, God.
Takahashi Akono is out in a nice blue vest. Kamikaze and Iceman are masked men that look terrible.
Oh dear.
They're not quite as terrible as the fat headhunters, but they look fucking awful. They look like they've thought, we want to have luchadors, but we haven't booked any luchadors, so let's get two out of shape random people and put them in bad Power Ranger outfits.
I'm sure Kamikaze Kid.
I don't know. I don't think so.
It felt like
that's the...
When I saw the Iceman, or just Iceman, he's not the Iceman, I was so happy. I thought, my God, that man is amazing. I cannot wait to watch him wrestle. I have found a boy. He comes out in the back of a car, don't he?
Yeah, they come out in the... I can't remember. Do they come out in the car?
The back on like an open truck.
Something. Well, El Texano...
There's a lot of Slammy 87 vibes with this.
Well, yeah, El Texano and Silver King. Yes, that's Silver King.
That's Silver King.
Comes out
on the... Whirlwind?
Yeah, Whirlwind. They come back. They come on the back of Honky's white Cadillac, and then
it's
almost like they've run out. They're going to get everyone in. Get everyone in a truck. We've got Mr. Ganasuke, the Flying Kid. No, Ichihara, isn't it? Terry Bam Bam Gordy, Tarzan Gota. They all sort of come out like DX invaders. We're going to take over the world. And then, obviously, the rightful limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun, the man of the hour, the man with the power on his moustache. It's Dan Severn, double belted Dan. He gets out of a limo.
Oh, he only had the two belts.
He only had the two.
Or he just decided, I ain't taking all my belts
He looks glorious, doesn't he, Dan? Oh, what a lovely man. Suited and booted Dan.
He looks like, what's his name? There's a Street Fighter character with that.
Oh, no, you want
Mike Hager, but that's Final Fight.
Is it? But he does look like a Street Fighter character.
Oh God, he looks like a killer. I mean, he looks like he murders people.
And then he opens his mouth and you think, what?
Oh, that's the problem with him. When he does that promo after, it's fucking brilliant. I love it because he just sounds really nice. Yeah, so
for more on Dan Severn, listen to our initial podcast. What was it? Episode 6.
We did Dan Severn in the WWF. We ain't done the last of Dan. We'll see a bit of Dan.
But if you want to hear about him leaning on a windowsill in the Hart's house, not be bothered as a special ref.
We always cover the big topics. An announcer in English thanks the Japanese crowd for them being there, and then Tiger Jeet Singh's batters someone. Leatherface scares the shit out of the crowd. What a fucking opening! Oh God, I just think it's a bit like, remember. Now I cheer for them. with the thing that made Vince really cry.
With all the legends.
If he'd have saw this as an opening package,
he'd have cried as well.
Gone, I can't top that. There's a bloke on his horse, there's a bloke with a dog, but batters him with a sword.
But the thing with that
two really random masked people, big truck.
The thing, obviously, because they're going in the crowd and just going around. Apparently, in Japan, if you're scared of something, it's apparently good luck to try and touch it, to try and get over the fear. So that's why Brody was around and Jeet Singh and Abdul would go in the crowd and like try and scare them off. But then they'd all like try and go and touch it. It's some weird Japanese thing. I think Foley mentioned it. That's why, obviously, they wouldn't really scatter as much.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Tiger Jeet
is interesting.
Tiger Jeet gives us our first promo. He screams and challenges. Well, I think he says Goto, so I think he's challenging Tarzan Goto. But then he tells us to get the fuck out.
I come to Japan, IWA now. I challenge Goto. You can Goto. Goto. Anytime, okay. Tiger anytime, okay. Get the fuck out.
Which is brilliant. I fucking love Tiger Jeet. At this point, I just think, what a boy.
What was it? Because they all, obviously, New Japan and All Japan was always like feuding and stuff.
Yeah.
He was, I'm sure he was New Japan's Abdullah. Because Abdullah was for All Japan. He was sort of wild, crazy.
Oh, Christ, he's got a Abdullah, he's a much better worker than Abdullah. I mean, he doesn't give us a lot to prove that.
Yeah, but on this show, what's better than one Abdullah? Two.
Well, we'll get to that in a while. The tournament quarterfinal opens then with a barbed wire board and chain match. So I think the idea is they should be chained together. Yeah, but we don't quite get to that point. Mr. Ganasuke versus Tiger Jeet Singh. They shove down the ref to start, and Tiger attacks Ganasuke with his fencing sword before tossing into the outside. Yeah, it's a scimitar. Into the barbed wire board. He definitely chooses it. But I don't know whether I can't remember.
I'm probably thinking of a different match. Carry on.
Then they cross over into the crowd. It's our first match. We're straight into the crowd. Let's not start too slowly now. The bell sounds because that matters. Ganasuke takes several chair shots, and they wander deeper into the crowd, again exposing how oversized the stadium was. Tiger's just waffling Ganasuke with chairs. We get the English referee. He kept to get back in the ring.
Yeah, the sort of flit between English and Japanese.
Yeah. He looked like he's from Yorkshire.
He should have been that big ref from World of Sport with the loud count.
Oh yeah. The announcer in Japanese, I assume, tells the fans to fucking move before we finally.
I assume we can't speak Japanese.
Yeah. Finally, Ganasuke returns the favour on Tiger Jeet Singh, but he's busted open. He's led back into the ring. Back there, Ganasuke fires away with drop kicks and chops, but Tiger finally uses the chain to choke Ganasuke. Mulleted referee tells them to break the hold. It's a deathmatch, mate. Ganasuke finds enough to fire back with headbutts. Tiger avoids a leap and does a fat man jog, which I did love. That was the moment when I thought, you'll do for me, Tiger, you'll do for me. Tiger gets an ear fall on a Tongan death grip, and Ganasuke gets off the ropes before throwing the barbed wire board in. He sends Ganasuke into another Tongan death grip on the barbed wire board for our first submission. And to be fair, it's shoot barbed wire, so...
Yeah.
The moment I'm near that, I'm quitting.
I don't think the Japanese know the meaning of kayfabe.
Just to
Japanese
finish,
wrestling. So.
They definitely don't. Just to finish this match, Tiger Jeet Singh decks the ref after the bell, heads to the back, literally not the worse for wear. You wouldn't have known he was in a match. Whereas Ganasuke is carried to the back, carried to a sink to legitimately throw up. He looks battered, absolutely battered.
I just got beat up by the crazy Indian Canadian man.
I fucking love it. Jack?
Well, I mean, you can't judge it on technical wrestling because there isn't any of it. It's basically just punch and kick and use of chairs.
Technical wrestling
is very, very clever Because he's created the madman gimmick without ever having to take any spots on anything like barbed wire. I will never take a bump.
I've got a fucking sword.
Got not one scar on that body.
I'm a deathmatch wrestler and I've never been cut. He's never bled in his life. So clever. But Tiger G did well because he legitimately looks mad. And Mr. Ganasuk, poor bloke, you are there just to get beat up by Tiger. So it's probably the most like death match opening.
No, it's not.
A nice opening. I mean, probably one of the best characters.
Yeah, as I've never seen all of the matches, and at the time I wrote what I thought of this match after seeing the first match, I think in terms of the whole tournament, it's the weakest match in the tournament. In terms. Because it's getting over Tiger Jeet as the crazy, dominant madman, but it's not gory enough, really, for the rest of the tournament. But I just thought Tiger Jeet really played the sadistic heel well, but it's not an opener. I wish they'd have opened with Funk or Cactus, really, because I think it would have got the crowd a bit more hyped. But Tiger Jeet, what a boy. Sam?
I do get, and he yelled a lot. He was a loud man.
Yeah.
He was a loud man, but me, you know my feelings with the Giant. As soon as I watch it, I went,
you're going to enjoy this then.
It's dark.
Don't worry, you got 2 non-flying luchadors to look forward to in a minute.
I know, but in a way, that was a bit of a respite from all the other nonsense, but I watched it, I was like,
needs more Zandig.
No. Actually, at least he had a bit of colour, pardon the expression.
Yeah.
He has a bit of colour
on his head.
Colour and gut.
Yeah, it does. It definitely adds a bit of gut.
But Tiger Jeeting, I agree, he is a boy. I do like Tiger.
That was the original name for the Blood and Guts match. It was Colour and Gut.
The legendary Terry Funk, again, who's recently sadly left us, is a really nice, softly spoken promo to camera.
He was really overworried in Japan.
It's such a weird cut though, because I like the Terry Funk promos, very good. And then we get Leatherface.
That was so unnecessary.
Where's
unnecessary.
Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett having a match?
The closer you get to that match, the more pathetic it looks.
It does look crap though.
It just looks awful close up. It looks like, again, I keep referencing it, but that Mrs. Doubtfire run over match.
It looks more like the battered Wallace.
It's awful. It's absolutely awful. Funk says that he needs a bit of luck on his side tonight. Leatherface, he does put over Terry Funk as a legend. He shows a bit of respect, basically says he's going to win. But he just doesn't sound threatening at all.
Weird.
It's just so weird. And then the next time we see him, he's fucking wielding a chainsaw like a crazy bastard.
Can you imagine the actual film with that Leatherface?
That's what I mean. If he just sat down to him and said, "Look, I'm all right. I'm going to leave you alone. I respect you. I'm just going to have to chop you
I
up."
respect you." And then he comes in, wobbly the ring.
Japanese.
Stuck his tablets.
Fucking man.
He his tablets.
So we're sticking to the boards and the chains here. So the former Corporal Kirchner is under the mask of Leatherface. And for some reason we're in the second ring, which I didn't realise there was. But
was there?
Yeah, there's 2 rings.
3 rings.
Oh, is there 3
Is it World War 3? Is it?
Yeah, there's 3 rings, because Jeet goes into 2 in the first match. They start in 1 and then they bugger off to another.
Oh, when they go outside,
when they're in the normal matches, they have it in the middle. When they're the death, they go on the outside until the main event.
I assume that's because of the blood that was going to be
over. They have a setup.
Yeah, I suppose.
Or that's separate. I want my own ring.
Yeah, I suppose.
Probably. I fucking wrestled in that shit.
Yeah. Like the first match, we don't really get around initially to tying both men to the chain as Leatherface jumps Funk before the belt. He hits I say he lands a moonsault. He grazes on a moonsault before knocking Funk into the barbed wire board on the outside. Leatherface fires up his chainsaw, and Funk actually gets his hands up to block it a couple of times, which, I mean, he does get a load of yelps, but it does kill the gimmick a little bit, because it's obviously not real. I mean, we know he's not real, but I don't know.
Give it the kayfabe that it is.
The referee finally couples them together, and Funk is already bloodied at this point. Leatherface wrapping the chain around his neck and face isn't going to help that, really. Leatherface takes a bump onto the board next before Funk uses the chain to whip him like it's a belt. For some reason, both of them decide to climb a fence surrounding the plants.
I thought, well, was this a cage match?
Well,
I got confused where the fence appeared.
It didn't look stable. I was certain at one point they were going to fall through the cage onto the people. Funk climbs over it and uses the chain briefly to choke Leatherface like a noose before dropping to the floor on the 5-minute call. Leatherface puts the board in the ring and sets it up against the turnbuckle. But of course, Funk gets whipped into it. The cries of Terry! 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 And then Leatherface yells.
Oh, no, you can't say that.
Leatherface just yells, "Yeah!"
Bloody hell, I don't remember that bit from the 1974 film.
I loved it. He turned into a pirate face.
Pirate face.
Leatherface fails to put Funk through the table. He's instead yanked off the top to the outside, but he lands on the indestructible
that
table.
tail spot was amazing. It's like they're building this big spot. It's just like, it sort of fails with such a sad fall.
Yeah, it's awful. After rolling back in, Funk hits Leatherface with a few punches, the last one with a chain-assisted left hand, and that's enough to secure the win. It's a bit anticlimactic for a deathmatch.
You did chainsaw earlier.
Yeah. But for me, it was better than the first match because you've got Funk who sells a bit better and he kind of knows the psychology. The ending was a negative for the match, though. But at least Funk is being so over, the crowd just naturally care for him. Jack?
Yeah, I quite liked it. I know Leatherface is a bit goofy and daft as a gimmick, but it does work in Japan, especially in a deathmatch.
Does it work when his face is on a belt and at the end of
It doesn't work when he's chasing off Karen Jarrett in fucking AEW. Here it's okay. Well,
why don't they get Kirshner to come and do that gimmick?
I don't know whether it matters.
Matters to me, damn.
But I quite enjoyed it. Funk obviously knows what he's doing, so he gets it over. It's a bit more gory, which gets it over the deathmatch thing. Not as gory as we will get. I like the chain, the fence climbing. Even though it's a bit slow, it just adds to it.
Yeah, it does. It's just you create it. It makes it different.
The danger for the fans and everything like that. Table spot's amazing. I loved it. I laughed. And then the finish is a bit shit, but deathmatch wrestling don't really matter.
It's what Sam's always said about hardcore wrestling. You beat the living piss out and win up with a roll up.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, it's the right winner again, so I'm happy for that.
So,
the chainsaw was unnecessary. Because, I mean...
If you take that away from Leatherface, it's just bad with a shit
when he uses it...
I know what you mean, though. That's the problem. It kills the gimmick. Because you know
that's the issue.
And I always think with Terry Funk, he's probably the one wrestler I watch, and I always, smile because, he's just mental and he's fun. I was fucking smiling on this show. Watching him, I thought, poor Terry. Poor Terry.
I think Teddy Funk, the good thing that I like about Teddy Funk is I know that he lived the life that he wanted to live, because he would just leave a major fed to fucking fight Leatherface in Japan because he's fucking mad. That's what I prefer to do. Like when that thing happens at the end, which we will definitely talk about, I know what he wanted to happen. Like he wanted to go like Wile E. Coyote.
Oh yeah, blow me up.
Just fucking mad.
Well, AEW would. Oh shit.
Oh, he would love. I mean, as much as you don't like AEW, I'm telling you now, if Terry Funk was wrestling now, he would be wrestling there.
He would be wrestling there, of course he would.
Yeah. He does celebrate in the back like a nice granddad. He says, that's one.
I love his promos. They're so good. They can have such a change of
nice, lovely man.
But now he's mad.
Oh, fucking mental. Absolutely mental. Cactus Jack tries to explain why the hell he's doing this 9 months before the biggest run of his career as Mankind. His promo is amazing. He's saying he's basically there to survive.
Did you know he was going to WF at that point?
I think he probably was, in the very least, he would have been in talks with them, I would imagine, because this is after, is it during his ECW run?
I think it's during.
Definitely done with WCW anyway. Terry Gordy, meanwhile, is not the Gordy of old, because he looks off camera to end the promo, like, is that enough?
So I'm alright with that. Can I have my pills now? Cactus does really well with his promo. later on.
There's a brilliant promo. I mean, the one at the end is really good, but he just, I mean, he's brilliant, Cactus Jack. I mean, promo-wise, there's no one better than...
Well, the WWF put these two together.
Yeah,
the Executioner. Where's your big axe?
So we've seen one Hall of Famer. Shall we see two? We get a WWE Hall of Fame match next. It's Cactus Jack versus Terry Funk.
Oh,
sorry, no, it's not. Terry Funk.
Too many goddamn
Yeah, there's a lot of Terrys in this match. I didn't realise that. Terry must be the most hardcore name. Cactus Jack versus Terry Gordy in a barbed wire baseball and thumbtacks match. Let's put them two together, why not?
Yeah, but they've got to do a scramble.
I love that. Start with a countdown. Let them have a chase 3, for the
2, 1.
It's brilliant.
I love that.
The countdown, yeah, it's good. I think it makes sense in this sense. You want the bat is what you want. Yeah, it's got to be the forefront.
So just chasing at the start. They're having on a bloody bowl.
The problem is he's quickly in both matches. Like,
oh yeah, it's irrelevant.
After the first shot, Gordy grabs it first, whacks Cactus on the back with it, sending him scurrying outside for cover. They tease a hip toss into the thumbtacks, but Gordy sends Cactus just outside the box, and Cactus fires back with some forearms in the corner. Gordy clotheslines Cactus down, but he's blocked from rubbing his face in the pins, and again he tries to bulldog Cactus into the box, but it's blocked. Cactus returns the favour, but gets back suplexed into the corner before he back body drops Gordy out of the ring. He's then sent off the top turnbuckle to the outside. I mean, how he's walking.
There's no can hardly walk.
No pad. He's just back body drop from the top of the turnbuckle right to the outside concrete. You just think, why are you doing this? You
get up and clothesline me.
Fucking bastard. The crowd ooze whenever they think someone's going to try and dump their opponent in the thumbtacks. After being whipped into the thumbtacks, Cactus slumps on the mat, landing in the box of thumbtacks and ending up with him. Ended up getting his head stamped into it. It's definitely the most hardcore thing we've seen so far. With thumbtacks around his forehead, Cactus fires back and punches Gordy before going into the barbed wire covered baseball bat. Going for the barbed wire covered baseball bat, only for the two of them to take the action to the outside of the ring. Back to the tables in the crowd. Of course, the Japanese tables, so no one ever goes through them. Cactus's head just bounces off them as he's pile driven through it. He's immediately back on his feet, though, because psychology is dead. He goes back to the ring so Cactus can take a powerbomb onto the thumbtacks. A second one follows outside of the thumbtacks, but Gordy ain't what he used to be. I mean, I know Cactus Jack is probably like powerbombing a sack or two of potatoes, but he never lifts him up on either of them power bombs and nearly kills him both times that he drops him. Cactus fires back, throwing a handful of thumbtacks into Gordy's face, and then he hits his double-arm DDT into the box. He covers for the win. Gordy, like the old school wrestler he is, back up, straight up, as Cactus theme plays. They start having another brawl. And we immediately cut to the post-match promos, Cactus admitting that Terry taught him a lesson, and Terry Gordy just saying shit and fuck a lot.
The Terry Gordy promo is the best promo I've ever heard. I've wrote it all down. He just goes, shit, fuck, motherfucker bit me, fuck. I mean, it's the best promo I've ever heard. That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all I need, Terry.
That's all you need to say. Sam, these would be two of your boys. I'm sure you must like Gordy.
Cactus Gordy, he's okay. I wouldn't call him a boy. He's he's there.
Yeah.
But Cactus, thank God for Cactus. At least there's a bit more.
Well, he built up a box of thumbtacks by just trying to avoid the thumbtacks. Yeah. It's amazing how much that a bit of psychology.
That's how you do hardcore wrestling. Yeah. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
That get away from it. Don't just go, all right, no, and jump into it.
I think that's the problem a lot of the time with a lot of the extra the CZW and stuff like that. Is that it's difficult to get over. It's difficult to get over hardcore wrestling if you don't do it from a point of the people who are in the hardcore don't want to be in the hardcore. So if everyone embraces being a hardcore wrestler,
then nothing matters.
Yeah. And if Cactus Jack can be scared of going in it, then anyone can be
And
scared
he's
to go.
seen as the most hardcore one. But the thing I do like listening to his podcast, because he did one on this.
Oh, did he?
And he said he was selling T-shirts. And I was calling him, your music's playing. He goes, hang on, I've got to sell these T-shirts. And he put all his money that he made in his boot and then ran out for his match.
So he fought this match with a sock full of dollars. Yen.
Yeah, it would have been. But he made I think he said 10 grand. Well, 10 yen, 10,000 yen or something, or $10,000. Because he said when he come back, as well, obviously later on, he's like all burnt and, his wife just goes, what smells? Was the smoking on the flight? And he goes, no, it's me. On his shoulder. Because he didn't want to show his dad or something.
It was well worth that. It was well worth that yen. So Jack?
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought they got over the tax well. I thought it was the first. It was the one that made, sort of finally got the gore over, because it's tax, so it's easy to see. It's a visual weapon. You sit up and all of a sudden you got tax in you.
Yeah.
It takes a few nasty bumps off the top, the power bombs into the tax and nasty, and the stamp with his face because he's mad. It's the right winner. He hardly really gets any offense apart from the DDT. But it's the right winner to get through. Terry still looks like a big badass. And they got over the tax and the bat quite well, so I enjoyed it.
I thought Cactus worked around Gordy's limitations that he obviously has got at this point by just allowing Gordy to beat the piss out of him.
I will just allow you to beat.
Was this when, after he'd had his thing on the plane where he died?
I think it was, pretty recent to this, because he just looks different. But I mean, the suspense at the bill with the tax was better than anything else that's happened on the show in terms of putting over this as something you should fear.
Yeah.
No real selling, but that's what you get from these. You can't sell if you spend time
Go sell a body slam and then hit you with a bat.
But I'd say that the last two matches probably been on equal par, and I'd probably give this as the best match we've watched so far. The fourth match in the tournament then is again a barbed wire baseball bat thumbtacks match. It's Hiroshi Ono versus Shoji Nakamaki. So it's two Japanese wrestlers. I mean, they're not as well known to Western audiences, and I don't know a great deal about them. We're back to the secondary ring, which I'm now told is the third ring, and Ono wins the race to get the barbed wire baseball bat first. Immediately starts waffling Nakamaki into the chest before he gets it returned in the favour. I mean, I don't know whether they are wearing pads or something. I don't think they are.
I don't think so.
But fuck me, they take them. They literally allow a baseball bat to be whacked onto their chest. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, gimmicking you, brother.
Yeah. They made making notes for this match really difficult for me because, they are dressed exactly the same, apart from the fact that one of them wears white boots and one of them wears black boots. So knowing who's who at times was difficult, especially because I don't know them anyway. The long collar and elbow tie-up follows, with Nakamaki eventually headbutting Ono out of the ring before heading for, a table. They go for a walk, and Ono is tossed into the crowd, where he takes a couple of chair shots before Ono retaliates by biting the head. Ono goes to the first ring and hits the first real wrestling move of the night, an STO with a bunny hop before a near fall, and before getting another 2 count on his shoulder block off the top. A really terrible clothesline follows for a 2. It's so bad that Nakamaki gets up and goes, I'll show you how to do a clothesline, and then takes his fucking head off. It's fucking stiff as fuck. They go for walks again, going to the secondary ring as they tease the thumbtack spots before Nakamaki goes for an STF with a very severely bloodied Ono just about making the ropes. Nakamaki follows up with a bulldog, stopping short of the thumbtacks before going for the move again, seeing it reversed into a back suplex into the box, and that's repeated. Amazingly, the 2 back suplex don't get the win. Ono gets a near fall, but an attempted third is reversed mid-move, and with Ono falling onto the tacks back first, before taking a powerbomb into the box for yet another 2 count. A stunned Ono by the perseverance of Nakamaki, who has big clusters of thumbtacks in the back of his head, picks up Ono's, drops him in the box a final time, hitting a skull-crushing finale for the win. Afterward, respect is shown by Nakamaki for Ono, and we see the damage done to both men as they cut promos, and they look fucked. Absolutely fucked.
Nakamaki, you got another match.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking vicious. Absolutely vicious. Jack?
Yeah, it's brutal. It's we're not taking any quarters. We're going for this. So they're going to smack each other a lot, even with a lariat. So that was going hard. And then
that lariat. I mean, that was the most hardcore thing of the night.
Well, once the freaking tacks come into play and they started back suplexing, and then that power bomb where he just goes, "I am throwing you down
on a bunch of tacks.
I ain't laying you sort of.
There's no give.
I'm smashing you into it. Then get up, because I'm doing a front move to you now." Mad. All the tacks in his head. I mean, it's brutal, but it suits what they're trying to go for with the king of a death match. So it can't be nice and spots and all that. It's got to be brutal and gory and hardcore, which is what it was. So I think they achieved their goal. I like Nakamaki. I think he looks like an absolute madman, and that's what you need to do in this tournament.
Well, I thought it was the best match of the four. I thought actually it was probably the best match of the four. From a technical point of view, it definitely was the best match of the four. But I thought it got over the hardcore stuff. You can't watch this looking for a lot of psychology because you're never going to get it. But it was two men that I think knew that they were unknowns compared to a lot of the others in the tournament.
Yeah,
they were drawn against each other and just thought, well, the only way we're going to be able to get over is if we just destroy each other. If we both of us try to kill the other, then they might remember our names. I thought, by far, it was the best ending of any match. By far, because it was the most impactful. Yeah. He's literally, you beat him by putting his face first into a load of attacks. The Gordy one, the DDT was okay, but it wasn't as vicious. And then the Terry Funk and the Tiger Jeet ones were just punch. Punch or a submission. Sam?
Well, I've just become so bored now.
Yeah.
Watching this, I'm just fed up with Deathmatch.
Well, don't worry, because we've got a couple of.
I know we've got
an icebreaker.
I know we've got a few, but watching this, I'm just fed up now. Can this be over with?
Well, in 2 matches' time, you're going to crave a bit of blood because we are going to the WWA, which is weird. I don't know why it's called WWA. WWA World Light Heavyweight Championship match between Flying Kid Ichihara versus Takahashi Okano. So this is our first sort of edited match. Yeah. There's a nice change of pace with the blood and guts, starting out with hip tosses and drop kicks. The match comes across. The match has come across as clicked on the DVD to the point where a lot of the dead time has been sort of cut, and a lot of the audio from the crowd seems to be cut because they don't give a fuck about this match. Okano gets a near fall with a body slam and a leg drop. The blinding sun doesn't help this match as well. This is at that time of day where the sun's dropped to a really awkward point and now you can barely see anything. Kano locks in a single leg crab, forcing Ichikari to the ropes. Ichikari responds with a headbutt and a moonsault press for a near fall on the challenger, who goes out to the outside of the ring and is met with a tope. As Ichihara, he just barely makes the ropes, nearly lands on his face. Back inside, Ichikari misses a big splash off the top rope before Okano gets a near fall after struggling for a blue thunder bomb. Ichikari connects with an Asai moonsault on the outside, then brings Okano to the mat with a backbreaker before connecting with a top rope splash for a 2. A slow count, and this referee, he counts slow all night. Allows Okano to kick out from a bridge suplex before he rolls out of the way of a top rope moonsault. The finish now sees Ichikari goes for a Hurricane Rana off the ropes, but Okano rolls through into a sunset flip, and then he sort of just covers him and becomes the winner of the match. And then there's some lovely dance music as well, which they show a thing that tells you it was 17 minutes. I mean,
we only watched about 6.
The finish is awful. Like, that finish was awful.
New champion.
I mean, I tried to... It must have been a difficult one for him, because then the first sort of let me up after the 4 blood and guts.
Yeah.
They are the let me up. The highlights, we can never get a real feel for how the 17 minutes went, but you would assume this is the best of what they did. But it was nothing offensive, but the crowd not caring. I know Japanese crowds build into matches, but they never did. And because the finishing spot wasn't what they do in Japan, it was just, it always just managed to pin him there.
Yeah.
Let's move on. That's literally it. That's all I can say. It's like, I'll forget that I ever watched this match.
Yeah.
Sam?
It was okay, but yeah, the silence hurt it.
Yeah.
Because it... And to be honest, when we watch a lot of Japanese shows, I think it's just because how they am over there, you know, they're usually quiet until they get like a certain spot or whatever. But this, there was nothing.
Yeah, it just didn't build.
It just, yeah.
It never ever built.
Yeah, I was still confused with the WWA, considering the other title matches. So you got 3 promotions total.
Yeah, it's all strange how they do it in Japan. Jack?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, you know, it's junior heavyweight or light heavyweight, so you expect it to be a little bit more high-flying, especially when there's a bloke called Flying Kid Ichikara. But the match, it wasn't great in the clips. 17 minutes, I don't think it would have got better. I think it would have got worse if we saw the whole match. There was a bit of, you know, it just felt a bit flat. And it's helped by the fact that you am following a bloke who's got thumbtacks in his head, and it's on a deathmatch tournament show, so the crowd are going expecting a deathmatch feel, and then 2 blokes relatively unknown in pants and boots go out and do a technical match for 17 minutes. So I don't think they've helped. There is a title change, but it was a great match, shall we say.
No. Speaking of not great matches, our next match is Kamikaze versus Iceman. Now, the kindest thing I can say about Iceman's gear is it looks like a really, really, really bad, cheap, naff Power Rangers suit.
I love Iceman. I loved seeing him come out. Then he's got this purple thing with the yellow and the weird thing.
The Purple Ranger.
And I just thought, you look amazing. You are now my favourite wrestler.
You're my favourite.
Get me an Iceman shirt.
Oh dear. So it's basic stuff to start off. Let's start by blocking hip tosses until Iceman ends up on an apron. He tries some form of springboard arm drag, only to forget he's not a luchador and he doesn't know how to do an arm drag. Because he just sort of flops over, pulling the other guy down. Although saying that, he does pull off the skin the cat head scissors. I will give him that, which sends Kamikaze to the floor. They jump cut because I think the next bit must have been awful. Back in the ring, Kamikaze hits an awkward spinning heel kick to send Iceman to the outside before meeting him with a dive. Jump cut again. Kamikaze goes up top after a body slam, but gets drop kicked off the top turnbuckle by Iceman. It brings him down with a suplex for a near fall. There's a top rope big splash by Iceman to get a near fall before he misses a horrible attempt at another splash. I mean, it's fucking woeful. It's really bad. Kamikaze drops Iceman with a powerbomb for a 2 before we get another jump cut to a tornado DDT out of the corner. Kamikaze kicks out of a Tiger Bomb and then drops Iceman with a rolling German suplex and a roll-up, only for Iceman to reverse that, and Iceman gets the win.
Lift that man up like Bobby Moore with the World Cup, because that was the greatest professional wrestling match I have ever seen. Iceman is a boy. He's so bad at wrestling, he's good at it. I loved watching this. I was so happy, for all the wrong reasons, but I was so happy in it. I said, mate, the finish is awful as well. Like, he hits a German and loses. How did that happen?
It's one of the worst. Podgy. It's one of the worst finishes I've ever seen. But how do you get to a point? Like, I could have spliced together a set of highlights for 95% of all the bad matches we've watched on this podcast and hidden all the crap that happens. They've managed to put together a highlight package that contained not one highlight. It was awful, like really bad. Apart from the skin the cat, everything else was terrible. And I can't blame either one of them. They were both equally terrible. It was... I mean, the problem is the way that they do these sort of super shows, and they did it in the King of the Deathmatch we watched with CZW. They always try and go, oh, we've got to have it broken up with some, like, luchadors or something. You don't. They're only there to see the blood and guts. Just fucking bleed the shit out of that, and let's all go home. If you're only going to give me this as your luchador, keep it. A bit like that Rangers fan then. Fuck off. Let it back. I'm not interested. I don't need it. It was poor. Sample. That sums it up. Leave it at that.
Well, I'll read you my note word for word.
Go on.
Not bad, but why on here? That's basically it.
I think you've done. That is the best. If they ever did this as a film, you know, they do the clips and they say excellent, awesome. They're the only good thing they could go. It's not bad, said Sam Chance. 4 stars.
In brackets, why on here?
Oh, don't worry though, Jack. We're back to the blood, and we're back to Tiger Jeet as well, because it's barbed wire board and glass match now. It's Tiger Jeet versus Terry Funk, 2 legends. Is Tiger Jeet in the Hall of Fame?
I don't think so.
Nah, yeah.
I'm surprised.
I don't think he's in the Legacy class. Is he dead?
He gotta be. I think he died during this fucking event.
He's immortal, I think.
Let's have a look. His son's career died. I don't know about it.
Yeah.
What?
We're back on the second ring, or the third ring, or the fifth ring, or whatever it is. Tiger Jeet uses his sabre to fight through the crowd, whilst our beloved Terry Funk uses the normal aisle way of getting there. The editing monster has started again. We go straight to a clip of Tiger Jeet attacking someone. Well, he's attacking what I thought. Initially, I saw him smashing something just slightly off, and I thought, well, he's probably breaking the glass then to get a shot. Only for me to see a poor referee in barbed wire board getting the piss beat.
You've taken that one, mate.
By the sabre and Tiger Jeet Singh. They start fighting in the crowd with Tiger using the handle of a sabre to attack Funk, and the pair wade through dozens of folding chairs. Some of them become weapons for Tiger Jeet, who breaks part of a folding chair, uses the metal frame to stab Funk, who falls onto a plate of glass. But unfortunately, we only hear it, we don't see it.
I was confused at first. I thought, what was that noise? And then I thought, oh, where's this glass?
Glass?
I thought it would already be broken, but I think it is just a sheet of glass.
Well, the cameraman opts to zoom onto the broken glass rather than anything else afterwards. Tiger Jeet stabs Funk with that frame again, and Funk does sell it well. He's sobbing and crying and everything. Finally makes it to the ring where the still frame comes into play again. And this match has become very, very difficult to watch in terms of the blood and gore and gouging and all that. Funk grabs the still frame and threw the referee out of the ring so he could use it to get some retribution. Tiger rakes the eyes to escape a spinning toe hold before jabbing a spike, which he gets from out his boot, into an increasingly blooded Terry Funk. Out of nowhere, Cactus Jack appears and they try a double team. Funk they tried to double team only for Funk to miss, only for Cactus rather to miss, as Tiger took the assisted sabre clothesline. Try saying that with a mouthful. Cactus is just too late to make the save. Funk gets the win and progresses to the final. I'm really baffled by the camera work here and the running as well. I mean, I do kind of get that they want to get over. There's a rivalry going into what's obviously going to be the main event. But at the same time, like, it is a death match. Why does Cactus want to have a situation where he fights Tiger Jeet in the main event and not Terry Funk?
Well, that don't make sense in that sense. But, I mean, Tiger Jeet taking no pin. He probably only lost about 3 pins ever.
Well, that's it, and they've obviously done this to get get an out for Tiger G to lose. He's Tiger G. He's Terry Funk.
Like, Tiger G ain't taking no pin.
That's the problem, I think.
He is becoming a boy, though. I mean, he's been in probably my least favourite matches of both the tournaments so far. The poor quality filming didn't help. Funk sold everything brilliantly, though. The running was unnecessary. But he is a really good... He's the most defined villain in this whole tournament. And I guess the story of this tournament was always going to be Funk and Cactus. Jack?
Yeah, it was okay. You know, it ain't as good as the other ones, I would say. It's more about going in the crowd and scaring the crowd, which is what Tiger and, like Sam said, Brody and Abdullah did and everything like that. So it's more punch and walk and brawl, and glass gets broken off camera. So, you know it's there, but it never appears. And somebody else who isn't in the match checks the barbed wire, bless him.
Poor ref.
The Cactus running I get, but also don't get logic-wise that why would you want to fight your mate. So it was a bit daft with, I know there ain't no logic, but it was a bit daft character logic-wise with trying to get Tiger to win, to fight each other. But it got the right outcome, and Tiger still looks like a madman even in loss.
That's true.
And Terry, like he said in his promos, with a bit of luck, goes through to the final.
Yeah, I suppose there is a callback to that.
Covered in blood.
Yeah, Sam, sorry.
The further we go, I'm just getting bored of watching the fucking brawls and the blood and the... I'm just tired now. Hurry up and finish this.
Well, have an Abdullah shirt.
Yeah, you do.
And
you love... Watch him once, that's it.
And you love Brody.
Yeah, but anyway...
Tournament semi-final number 2.
I don't want to watch a whole show of them.
Yeah, well, I'll get to my review at the end.
I do.
Barbed wire board and bed of nails matches. Cactus Jack versus Nakamaki. So they're starting in the secondary ring again, or the third ring again here. Cactus picks up a bed of nails, and we get a jump cut during Nakamaki's entrance. They start with a collar and elbow tie-up, with Cactus going into the corner before ironically clapping Nakamaki. Cactus cheap shots.
I thought you meant you was clapping.
I wasn't. No, it would have been ironic though. Cactus cheap shots Nakamaki in the corner, then tries to shove him out of the ring onto the barbed wire board before succeeding with a baseball slide drop kick. Nakamaki reverses an Irish whip and sends Cactus into the barbed wire that has been propped up against the ring, but Cactus fires back with a clothesline before sliding the bed of nails into the ring. A suplex on the floor follows as Nakamaki goes all junkyard dog and on Cactus with some headbutts before Cactus grabs some barbed wire and rakes it across the forehead of Nakamaki. The wire was then upgraded to nails before Cactus got shoved back first into the bed. Then arm first and back first again. Naki slides the... Naki? I can't call it that. Nakamaki slides the barbed wire into the ring but gets cut off by Cactus, who bursts out his mankind squeals from a few years' time as he fish hooks his opponent and then places the barbed wire board across the back and leaps on it. He gets a slow 2 count because every count in this thing is bloody slow. Continues the assault by tossing the board back onto Nakamaki as we cross the 5-minute mark. Only 5 minutes in. Nakamaki bleeding heavily. Even more so when Cactus shoves him out of the ring and his boot. You can literally see his boot impaled on the nails. Yeah. That's when you know they ain't shaved these nails down. Like, it's fucking shoot nails. Back outside, Cactus goes to body slam Nakamaki onto the nails, but changes his mind. He places the board on top of him and hits his Cactus Jack elbow. It's extremely brutal. Despite being impaled, Nakamaki kicks out at a 2, again from a slow 2 count, before trading headbutts with Cactus, who staggers back onto another board of nails 3 times, and then falls onto the barbed wire bed. Cactus rolls away as Nakamaki goes for a big splash on the board before Cactus suplexes him back onto the barbed wire. It's another elbow drop, yet another slow near fall. Another elbow drop follows, as does a sluggish 2 count. The ref is doing my head in now. Nakamaki resumes the headbutts, then drops Cactus onto the barbed wire board for a 2. Cactus ups the ante. It's a double arm DDT onto the barbed wire board, and that is enough to eliminate Nakamaki and send Cactus to the final. I'll start with Sam. We'll get it out of the way. Sam, are you still bored?
Yep.
Jack, thoughts on this match?
Horrible. In terms of
it was
gruesome,
the most brutal.
The nails and the barbed wire sandwiching him, and the elbow off the apron with him underneath nails and barbed wire, and it's what you want from a deathmatch tournament. If that's what you're advertising, you're definitely getting what you're advertised here, because Cactus is mad and she'll do everything. And Nakamaki looks like he's as mad as well, and she'll do everything.
Is he the one that had the tacks in the back of his head?
Yeah.
No, yeah. But I didn't know nothing about Nakamaki, but I thought he performed
Did he
really
still
well.
have him in his head? You should have left him.
I thought he did
Still
really
does.
well, yeah.
They can't get him out.
It was a really good tournament.
I thought he had a really good tournament. He had 2 solid matches. I thought, obviously, this is the one that is the most brutal out of any of the matches that we see. He's so brutal. It's the right winner though, because this tournament had to be about getting Cactus and Funk together in the final, which I'm sure will be a barn burner with a absolutely amazing explosive ending. After a few short promos, Cactus builds up the main event perfectly.
Yeah,
going on about the need for him to fight Funk and prove himself. It's just a brilliant promo, and we're ready for our next match, which is the prestigious. Who's your favourite IWA Tag Team Champions, Sam? Well, we might find out. Because
the Warlord held it, I'm pretty sure.
Did he?
He did.
Yeah. Do you know a surprising world champion holder?
Jim Duggan.
Oh, you've spoilt me a moment later.
It becomes comedy promo company in the 2000s.
I could not believe it when Dan Severn challenges Goto, and I thought, well, I wonder if he won. And I looked, and then I thought, hang on, 99, Duggan's the champ.
It's fucking
beautiful.
Wrapped in barbed wire.
So our tag team title match then is Los Cowboys versus the Headhunters. It's another clip fest. Start with some double teaming. Starts off, but Silver King knocks down a Headhunter. I'm going to call him a Headhunter. I don't know.
Never know which one's which.
Yeah, with a drop kick before he's dropped with a double flapjack. There's a double team power bomb which follows before El Texano comes in. He barely phases the Headhunters with a clothesline. It's all one-way traffic as Texano takes another flapjack before being flattened with a big splash and a leg drop combo. Silver King breaks up the count. We jump cut then, and Texano's back to his feet for a double team splash on a Headhunter before Los Cowboys connect with each of them doing a dive to the outside, followed up by a plancha from one of the fucking Headhunters. Big fat Headhunter dives over the top. It's brilliant. Another jump cut, and we're back in the ring with Texano locking an armbar on a Headhunter before stupidly trying a body slam. Headhunter misses a sit-down splash and gets covered for a near fall before the Headhunter recovers and reverses a double suplex attempt. They hit dueling elbows from the top rope, but the Headhunter's size gets him back into the match. Silver King gets thrown into the crowd, leaving the Headhunters 2-on-1 with Texano, who gets suplex into a super bomb, with Silver King coming back just too late, and the Headhunters take the titles. Jack, thoughts on this match?
I mean, I don't know whether I want to watch the full of 18 minutes, because I think that would have been a bit bad. But
it was 18 minutes?
Yeah.
This was the longest match.
The clip of
Be
the
thankful
match.
you got 6 minutes.
The clip of the 6 minutes of the match, I think, looked quite good. I thought the Headhunters looked quite good. Suit the company, suit the style. They are impressive doing a plancher and all this. And they do go on, with some of the moves and some of the bumps that Texano. Fair play to them. Texano and Silver King, I think, have a decent team as well. Did some nice tandem offense at times, but was never going to look strong against two big fat bastards. And I think it's the right winners. I think them good tag team champions for a promotion built around hardcore.
Well, they ain't likely to get picked up.
Well, exactly. They ain't going anywhere. No. They can fight. They can legitimately look like they can beat like a Cactus and a Tiger Jeet Singh if you put them together in a tag match against them. I think it works. So I think they're good for the promotion. I think I did quite like them in this match.
I thought this is by far and away the absolute best Headhunters match I have ever seen.
Is it the only Headhunters?
No, I've seen him as SWAT teams. I've seen him in ECW. Saw him against the bloody headbangers.
You know the team with Jake?
It doesn't surprise me.
On Terry Funk's retirement show.
Brilliant.
The same show with the bushwhackers on it.
This is by far and away the best match that I've ever seen of them. They look very dominant. They actually looked agile. I thought the finish was really good because it was a proper impact move. Babyfaces actually worked well as well. They sold and gave a lot to the Headhunters. Not an ounce and a drop of blood was spilt, and it got just as much reaction as some of the hardcore stuff, which is better than most things you could say about the rest of the card. I was really impressed with the 6 minutes. I completely and utterly accept, though, had I seen 18, and the note might be completely different.
It would have been different.
So
I like this match. I do like the Headhunters. They're boys for me. No surprise there.
Yeah,
sure.
I thought you were a headhunter for
possibly. Next time I won't paint my face like it. But I kind of agree that maybe after 18 minutes they probably wouldn't be boys, but it was nice to see a normal tag match because I was expecting for it to be just like, brawling everywhere, and that did the job,
Yeah.
and they have the right tag team chance for this promotion. Whatever it is.
Oh, totally. I mean, I don't know a lot about Texano and Silver King, but I think I would.
You know a lot about Silver King because you booked him for Glacier.
We get a nice dad promo from Dan. He cuts a promo on who Tarzan Goto is and what he does. So basically, the idea is the style. I'm going to completely oil and water here. It's going to be Dan Severn, the wrestler, the NWA champion, the one who out wrestles and submits, against Tarzan Goto, who represents all things hardcore. There wasn't a lot of clipping. There was a little bit of clipping in most of this match. We get in full. Severn, of course, would go on to have a small run in the WWF, which you can check out in our archive. And as much as, like I say, the styles, you would think, why is Dan Severn on there? It actually helps the match, I think, a little bit, but we'll get to it at the end. Tarzan slaps Severn to begin with as the champion trips over the referee in an attempt to retaliate. And of course, Goto has gone for a chair. The ref admonishes him, and Severn holds the ropes open for Goto, which leads to a distraction for Goto to lock in a rear naked choke on the apron. Tarzan threw Goto over his shoulder to free himself, and of course this means more chairs from the challenger. But Beast isn't taking any of this. Back in the ring, he works over Tarzan with a leg lock, but Tarzan kicks himself free into a single leg crab, which is broken by the ropes. Tarzan keeps on top of Severn with headbutts and actually lands a wrestling move with a jumping armbar into an armbar. Severn frees himself and retaliates with knees to the head, and they are stiff before mounting Tarzan in a rear naked choke. We're treated to scenes from the crowd of shock, awe, and a little bit of boredom before returning to Goto rolling free of the hold. Suddenly, Tarzan is bleeding profusely from the head. I'm going to assume it wasn't cut, but it seems to go from little cuts to buckets of blood. But that might be because he has a forehead that looks like a cheese grater.
It's been cut to be.
Yeah, it goes under the ring.
Just a bit.
He goes under the ring, and the most hardcore thing you see, he grabs a beer bottle, smashes it, and then I think he wants to legitimately murder Dan Severn to win the belt. Dan has to use a steel chair finally to back him away. Stan Severn. Stan Severn. They spill into the crowd, brawling amongst the fans. Goto legitimately breaks a seat against Severn. We get the ECW pile of chairs spot, which follows onto the floor. Severn wakes up and hurls a few chairs into the ring, except the ropes intervene a few times. Severn catches Goto in the back of the leg with chair before they resume dueling, as Severn has enough and schools Goto with a belly-to-belly suplex. The referee just doesn't give a shit. He allows the chairs. Goto continues to waffle chairs on Severn. Includes a shot that Severn just about blocked to the head. There's two Frank Gotch-style cradle West pin pile drivers, followed by Dan Severn whipping Goto into the ropes for a back body drop. And that's actually turned into what I researched as the Emerald Fusion. There you go.
The Emerald Flosion?
Yeah.
Flosion?
Well, that's what it was. What old Mitchell Misery used to do. Was driving.
Yeah. Another missed Goto clothesline leads to a German suplex before he locks in a rear naked choke that forces the ref to stop. I do love it. He's waiting for the 3 arms, but the ref's already given up. So he's there. Fuck yeah, I've won anyway. And there's no repeat of any respect here, though, because the two meaty men just brawl. They sort of hug brawl after the match. Dan's voice always lets him down, though. He gets on the mic. He's a lovely man. He wants to build to the next match being for the IWA title, which is sensible, because obviously Tarzan holds that belt.
Yeah.
And that is that match. Sam?
I don't know. I just couldn't get into this. It just felt like too much of a clash of styles.
I understand.
You've got someone who's purely a wrestler, who's not putting up with all this hardcore bollocks, with someone who's all about this hardcore bollocks to see FMW later. When was FMW founded?
It was around now, weren't it?
Was it like 97 or something? After this, yeah. Because he was one of them, wore he? Tarzan Goto.
Yeah, he was.
He's like Onita and all this other nonsense.
Yeah.
All I kept thinking was, you keep going for a chair? And Dan Severn was like, I ain't fucking doing this.
Well, I actually thought the juxtaposition worked a little bit. I thought Dan actually really impressed me because he worked around. Tarzan Ghost is very limited. He's a very, very limited wrestler. He can only do certain things. And Dan worked around it, kept his wrestling thing legitimate. I thought everything he did, it looked good. So for me, I can understand why you might not like it for the styles, but I understood the story that they was getting across, and I thought they did it well. Jack?
I really liked it. I like the start that Goto's just going to get chairs and Dan's just asking him to come back in. Like, let's have a proper match, you silly bastard. But then they have the match and it goes well. I love the spot outside where he's getting covered in chairs and then he just stands up and shouts, Goto!
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Like he snapped there and then he's lobbing chairs.
That was brilliant. That was too much, yeah.
And then, he starts out wrestling him with the belly-to-bellies and the Germans and all that. And I probably would have had him out wrestling for the finish and not the pass out spot of the choke. I get the choke spot and I get passing out. I don't mind it, but I think it suited Dan's character better to out wrestle him and outwit him for the finish if you're then going to go into another match, which I would assume is going to be a bit more hardcore for their title. But yes. I really liked it. I like them both anyway, but I really liked it.
I do like Dan a lot. We've reached the final then, so our tournament final is a no-rope, explosive barbed wire, fireboard, time bomb death match. It's Terry Funk versus Cactus Jack. Is that enough hardcore bollocks for you? Want me to throw in a piranha or a crocodile? This is the match, though. I think this is, even if you're not a fan of hardcore wrestling, even if you just watch WWF, you knew this match happened.
Yeah.
It's one of those that you knew happened. And it is, like I say, full now. Kawasaki Stadium is pretty full as they sort of get all the accessories over that are around the ring. Funk in his blood-stained shirt from earlier on, whilst Jack's arm is all taped up. Not yours, Jack, but Cactus Jack.
All right.
And what do? Start a hardcore match with a bit of boxing. Yeah. They have a bit of a jabby jab. Funk peppers Jack with a couple of jabs before Cactus tries to send Funk into the barbed wire via a collar and elbow. Funk puts on the brakes, taps his head, and when Cactus is whipped into it, he baseball slides underneath. Again, they're getting over, not wanting to go into the barbed wire. They tease each other going into the ropes, but the camera camera close-up shows Cactus actually impales his arm as he's trying to rake Funk's eyes. I mean, you literally could see the barbed wire in his arm. But Cactus is the first one who bumps into the barbed wire ropes as Funk shoves him into the strands. Funk then takes a bump into an explosive barbed wire board after staggering backwards on some punches from Cactus. There is legitimate shrieks from the crowd. Yes. Funk kicks out at 2. Cactus gets whipped into the barbed wire ropes again, and his shirt is completely shredded before Funk gives him a really, really low hip toss, which into another exploding board for a much less reaction. Cactus is dropped like a sack of potatoes with a pile driver from Funk before taking a second one into a barbed wire board, smashing it on impact. Funk keeps up the pressure by punching Cactus into the barbed wire ropes, which is followed by being hurled into the barbed wire board that's propped in the corner. That only gets Funk a 2 count as Cactus escapes the ring and is met by a flying barbed wire board. Again, like I say, at this point, I think the only way to win is to literally kill your opponent.
I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. I mean, so much so that Cactus goes under the ring and gets a brick.
I'm going to smack this brick.
Which is amazing.
I'll brick you.
The crowd get a close-up view of things as Funk reverses an Irish whip, sending Cactus into the front row before we return to the ring. This is where the announcer starts giving you a proper countdown of the time bomb. We're at 2 minutes mark. As Funk takes that as a signal, he throws Cactus inside, puts the spinning toe hold on. Who's back? It's Tiger Jeet Singh. He runs in, he levels Funk with his fucking sword. The announcer screams less than 1 minute as Cactus and Tiger whip Funk into the exploding barbed wire board that's been propped up in the corner. Cactus gets an earfall on a neck breaker, drops Funk with a double R DDT, but rather than stay in the ring whilst the count goes, he slides out. Finally, we reach 1 as Funk flops to the ground, and in a throwback to, well, no, it's a sign of things to come. This spot never fucking works.
No.
We get this farty pyro around the ring again. Even Funk gets up and goes, "What the fuck was that?"
I actually this
and it literally gets booed. Like, it's just so stupid. It really doesn't make any sense. Funk gets to his knees, emotions, what the hell, to the crowd. We get another explosion, this time a much better one, as Funk delivers a back suplex to Cactus onto a barbed wire board. As I say, it was much louder than the time bomb. A bloodied Cactus, and I mean bloodied, he's covered, crimson mask, rolls to the outside as referees check Funk's vision. We get a ladder thrown in the ring now, that's exactly what we need. Funk takes the ladder to the head before Cactus suplexes the ladder onto him, gets an earfall in the process. Cactus climbs up the ladder, he nails an elbow drop from the top, but Funk gets his shoulder up at the last minute. He goes up again, but Funk knocks him flying onto the barbed wire ropes. But somehow, that leads to Funk. That's the last thing Funk can do. He's exhausted. He collapses on the mat. Cactus gets himself off the barbed wire rope, crawls over, and in a very anticlimactic way to end a mega death match, which would go down in folklore, he covers. And Funk and Foley have said they absolutely hated this match, the ending, the way that it was told. They would do it all over again if they could. Post-match, Cactus saves a bit of the match by cutting an absolute wonderful promo about the difficulty in beating Terry Funk.
There's a feeling deep in my stomach because I was happy in the United States. I was happy there until Terry Funk signed with IWA. Terry Funk signed with IWA. The Japanese press has called me the American Onita for the past 5 years, and that's great. But when Terry Funk came to the IWA, I didn't see a chance to make money. I saw a chance to finally sleep at night. Because the name Terry Funk is ate away in my guts for the last 3 years because no matter how good I was, no matter how dangerous I was, Tiger. That's right. I knew in my heart I'd never beaten Terry Funk. And in my heart I didn't know if I could. It was a quest. And now, with my body battered, at last maybe I can find peace, Tiger. Because I've beaten Terry Funk. I've beaten Terry Funk. There'll be many, many more times, you know. This is not the only one, you know. There'll be many, many more times. King of the Deathmatch. I don't feel like a king. I felt like shaking Terry Funk's hand. He walked up to me. He was hurt. Well, so am I, Terry.
I absolutely love that promo where Cactus is being all like respect of Terry and like, you know, I've beaten Tiger Jeep. You're bastard. You're a fucking bastard.
Yeah. And then we see footage of Terry Funk being carted out to the hospital, which at least is putting over
the credits. The sad EastEnders thing.
Yeah. The long one when someone dies or something like that.
And then the ambulance buggers.
I thought that when I saw the credits, I immediately thought about that.
Well, I'm just wondering whether this saved your opinion on Deathmatch Wrestling. So.
If I'm honest, if you watch this on its own, it ain't bad. When you watch the whole show, it means nothing. You just become numb to it, and it's just like, this is cack. You get bored with seeing the same shit for... How long was this show?
Well, it was 2.5 hours, but I mean, if you was there, it was about 4 hours.
It's sort of fucking... I don't care, and they've seen blood and people...
Teddy! I was left extremely...
That's a tiny bit more, Jeff, doing that, but...
Had you ever watched this match before? Obviously, you've seen...
Not watched the whole thing, bro. I saw bits, and
you?
I've watched it a couple of times. I'd watched it like 3 weeks before anyway, with Cactus Jack's commentary, because it's on his DVD. It's on YouTube with his commentary.
Oh, right, I didn't realise that. I wish I'd have listened to it.
Because apparently sorry, I was going to say...
Explosion.
The explosion really hurt him, because I think that was...
That's what his arm.
Yeah, all his arm, and I think that was the first time he panicked.
Because he started wiggling his fingers.
Yeah, he was like... Because he didn't know what was going on, that was the first time he actually felt scared.
I mean... So they're saying
not that explosion.
It's not, yeah, what I'm about to say
is... Board one, not the one terrible.
It feels like Kane Dewey all the time over the... Now that I'm saying that I was left massively disappointed by a man nearly burning himself alive. But to me, the problem with this match type is if you're always building up to the timer going off and the explosion... I don't think I've ever seen one of these explosions. We watched that Piranha Pool match which had a timer, and then there's just like an explosion in the water.
Oh, Mike Awesome.
Yeah. We've obviously watched the AEW one, which was ridiculed.
Amazing.
This one, I mean...
Unless you literally blow somebody up and you see their arm and their head and the foot go all over the place.
Yeah, you need the ring to be in pieces after it. That's the only way. And if it's not possible to do it, don't do it. Don't promise it. Don't do it.
Because surely, if you're going to say to someone, I want to rent your building, okay, what am you doing? I'm going to blow it up. No!
It would be if you could gimmick the ring to where when the pyro and smoke goes off and the ring falls apart, it would look a lot better, but I don't think anybody's ever done that.
Yeah, but I want to see a bit of the rope in one corner of the building, the bloody turnbuckle over there.
That's the only way.
Up in the roof with his legs dangling. That's what
the only way you do it. If you're going to do it, if you don't need to do it, if you've got all these exploding boards anyway, they all get that reaction.
That's the exploding bit. Don't say we're going to blow the ring up. Just say, okay, there is explosives.
Yeah,
so you could get pour on him and then you backdrop him and then you see him bounce 20 foot in the air.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any
without
sense.
a leg.
But I mean, to me, the biggest difficulty, I understood what they were trying to get at. Teddy Funk has succumbed to the injuries he's had through the night and through the match, to the point that even though he had Cactus beat with the last push, he just couldn't cover him, and he's ended up losing because of that. That story makes perfect sense, but unfortunately, he got up and went, what the fuck is this? About 2 minutes before, because that explosion, I think, was supposed to be the sort of, how do you survive after that? So it made it massively flat, and because it's the thing that this DVD and show is sold on, it's the most disappointing of all the matches that we've watched, apart from 2 masked random luchadors. So they are very lucky boys that they might avoid the worst match. Maybe not. Jack?
Yeah, I thought, it starts quite good, and they have all the explosive boards, so it's ramped up, and there's barbed wire rope, so it's gruesome, it's horrible, because it's legit.
Yeah.
So it's horrible, and it's just built, and you feel like it's a proper tournament final. And I get that it's a deathmatch tournament, they want a big, massive ending. But because the bomb doesn't go off, or whatever's supposed to go off doesn't go off, it just completely nullifies everything you've just seen in the past 10, 15. All the good work they've done up until that point is nullified, because it is just a fart of a pyro. Then they try and save it, but I think they should have changed their finish and just done a big move into the board.
Totally, yeah.
But obviously at the time it's quick and thinking on your feet. But because it would have been good that they had the big explosion, Terry then gets up for one last try and falls back down.
Yeah.
I like the Tiger Jeet involvement as well.
This one makes more sense because he ain't in the tournament anymore.
It gets him out of the explosion as well. So they're built really nicely up until the explosion. And then after the explosion, it all falls apart and becomes a big pile of shite through no fault of their.
No, it's not Cactus involved.
But it's all about the explosion, and it doesn't go off. So,
Sam, then overall thoughts on IWA's King of the Deathmatch? Are you riveted and ready for next year?
We are doing this. I don't think there was another one.
No, not an IWA.
There's about 12. 15 tournaments of death.
Yeah, but
we could do all
this.
This
was hard to watch. It's not Martha. It was just I got bored the further I got into it. There was some respite with some matches, but yeah, this is one of the worst things I've had to watch for this.
Well, I think it doesn't quite live up to the legacy, but I do appreciate I'm looking at it 27 years on, or whatever it is, nearly 30 years on. I think there is some good individual moments. I think the endings of a lot of the matches hurt it, and the ending of the match here hurts the card. The undercard matches were pretty awful. The 2 title matches were okay. But as usual, 7 hardcore matches is just way too much. There's nothing, you can't tell a unique story. And if you forget the fact of what happened at last night's hardcore match, and then you go the next night, you can probably get by. But I always find it really tough to watch 7 deathmatch matches and see anything new. But of the time, I thought they probably did enough to satisfy their audience. And look, it's a tape trading gold, isn't it? And I could probably recommend 4 matches on this DVD to watch as well.
Yeah, one of them's Iceman. So the show, I thought it was easy to watch.
It was easy enough.
I am more susceptible to this kind of gory wrestling, shall we say. I didn't mind the tournament matches. I don't think there needs to be a big story. It is all about just getting as gory and being as more visceral and horrible you can as you go along, but it ends with a fart, and that is a shame, because it goes down in folklore anyway, and it is iconic, and it is a big show for deathmatch people, and even in wrestling history I think it's a big show, because in 95 nothing like this was happening, but it would have been a little bit better if that bomb went off. Bless them.
without a doubt.
But there is a bit of shit in there.
This needs a...
Oh, yeah. It's well worth It's well worth this. But it ain't quite bloody mania, Sam, and you've got about
You look
4 or 5 months to prepare yourself for
Well,
that.
Jack's birthday. Okay.
Oh, no. It ain't my birthday.
No, it's just on its own.
in the schedule.
Just in the
Is
schedule.
he?
Yeah.
He might do bloody mania
You
too.
I'm
bastard.
doing Tournament of Death.
It's after Christmas though, so you got a few months to drink yourself into a
No, but we
stew.
might do it before Christmas, haven't we? We might record
Well,
it before
true.
Christmas.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that to him.
On Christmas?
I might do it Christmas Day. Well, that's the only way.
Christmas art.
Yeah.
That's these fat people.
That one's got Greg though, and no matter what way you look at it, you've got Greg Valentine getting ripped by a clown. So, match of the night then. I'll start with you, Sam, because it's going to be hard to predict where you're going.
I'm going to go with a tag title match.
And I am as well.
I would have gone the main event if it didn't have the explosion, so there's a star of that, but I'm going to go Dan v Goto.
I thought you were going to Iceman.
I love Iceman. I love him.
Worst
match? You did.
Nakamaki Ono, just because I was fed up with hardcore at this point.
I am going to say, I've got to say it because it has to be picked by one of us, Jack, and you won't pick it. So I'm going to pick Kamikaze.
How dare you? Iceman's fucking amazing. I'm going to go with the main event, but it's only because of the explosion at the end, and that's what it's built around. So.
I'm glad you've said it. MVP?
Cactus.
Tiger Jeet. I'll have you now.
Well, I'll go Funk.
Yeah, I think them are the three.
Them are the main event. Or Iceman.
LVP?
Me.
You were the one who come out worst.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the explosion at the end. Obviously, that really took the steam out of... It took the explosion out.
I'm going to go... I mean, you could say the company as a whole, because this feels like their big moment of crowning, but also that nothing can reach this height again for them. 27,000 people in a baseball stadium is ridiculous for a company that's basically an indie.
Yeah. So, can't argue with that.
Or the explosion not going up.
Well, we round out the episode then by reimagining the King of the Deathmatch as it's it is IWA International Wrestling
Association.
As it's an very internationally based promotion, I thought, well, what better way than doing a proper international based King of the Deathmatch with no era restrictions. You can go modern, you can go old school, you can do whatever you want. Sam, you could have tournament to deathmatch being chain wrestling and doing whatever you want. It's up to you. You do exactly what you want. But I got 8 people.
I got 8 people because you said it was from different countries.
Yeah.
Some of them are kayfabe.
Yeah, it's fine as well.
Oh, yeah.
That was fine by me. Go on then, Jack. We'll open with you. Your first tournament match.
Right, we'll get him out of the way because you know he's in it. USA or which fat bloke have I picked? Is it Supreme or Zandig? Which one have I picked?
Supreme.
I picked Zandig.
Oh,
I love that man so much. Versus Tom Tack Jack from Germany.
Oh,
he's in that.
Obviously, a bit more up on the deathmatch stuff.
Yeah,
He's the one who fights Nick Gage when he nearly bleeds to death, bless him. And obviously Zandig is going over. He can do a move off the roof.
Well, my first match representing USA is Mr. Terry Funk versus representing England, because I just love the fact that he was a hard bastard but dressed like a woman. I'm going to go for Adrian Street because I would just love to see him in a death match with Terry Funk.
I really thought we thought Big Daddy in this.
It's difficult, the UK. I was looking through the UK and I thought, I having Jimmy Havoc for obvious reasons.
The UK was the hardest one.
Yeah,
Who the fuck can we have?
So, but I'm going to go with Funk going over Adrian Street. But I think he could hold his own in a...
He'd do a Tiger Jeep, wouldn't he? Take a bomb.
Right, my first match, it's representing USA, Terry Funk.
Yeah.
This is representing Japan, Hayabusa.
Yeah, nice one.
Terry Funk going through.
Jack?
Match 2 representing India. It's not Tiger Jeet, I've used Sabu.
Yeah, because he was built from Bombay India.
Versus representing the UK, Mikey Whiplash from ICW, Scotty.
Well, yeah, it's the one with the. It's like
He's not Scottish, but
yeah, it's like a one contact. Then
that's Jack Jester.
Yeah.
Mikey Whiplash is the one who sort of wears like fish.
Oh yeah,
with the panty bags.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put over Sabu.
Mine representing Ireland, Fit Finlay, versus representing Mexico, Damien 666, and I'm going to put over Finlay. Only.
My next one, representing India, Tiger GT, because he has to. And representing Puerto Rico, Carlos Colon, because look at that foreign.
Yeah, I forgot about Puerto Rico.
Well, he was
I was going to have him, but
and Tiger Jeet, giving over.
match quarter-final 3. Representing Japan is Atsushi Onita, obviously, he's the king of the deathmatch, versus representing Mexico out on Pagano, the current Mexican wrestler. He looks a bit like
he's a clown,
hero, got the clownish face, red hair.
He is the king of the deathmatch.
He's a bit alright, cool.
Yeah.
He'll have, them things.
When I was researching it, that's who come up as the suggested one for Mexico, Pagano.
I'm not surprised. But Anita's going over because he's got to be.
He's definitely going to go over in mine because he's representing Japan. It's Anita versus representing Canada, PCO.
Yeah.
Even not shocked.
I mean, he'd fucking love it. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I'm going to put over Anita.
The next one, representing Sudan, is Abdullah,
Yeah.
of course. Versus, now this one you could either have him represent Canada or Algeria. It's Mad Dog Bajan.
Oh.
Because he was built from Algeria.
Was he?
Yeah, but he's French Canadian.
Just put him from Algeria, though. You've got to have an Algerian.
Yeah, Algerian match. But it's Abdullah who's going through.
It's an African match, then.
Yeah. That's true, yeah. Representing Sudan, I've got Abdul. Oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead, yeah.
Well, representing Sudan, I've got Abdullah the Butcher.
Yeah.
Versus representing Canada, Joe Ledoux.
Oh,
with his axe.
Fucking hell.
Joe Ledoux.
I've never seen the likes of him in King of the Death.
There would not be a finish. I would never be able to get him to agree
So that's a buy.
to losing. But I will put over Abdullah. I love you, Joe.
Yeah.
Abdullah's probably less likely to take a finish than you.
He'll just lie on you and won't move.
Representing Sudan, Abdullah the Butcher. Representing India, my new boy, Tiger Jeet Singh. Unfortunately, as you've just said, I mean, that would be really tough to finish as well, but I'm going to assume that I could ply enough alcohol to Tiger Jeet for him to accept the loss to Abdullah the Butcher.
Last match, it's representing the UK, and I think I've got his name right. Is it Chris Brooks?
Yeah.
The one we've seen.
Yeah.
Because he's like,
that's his most hardcore movie, the Wet Willy.
I was trying to think who's the hardcore bloke that we did see, but I couldn't remember his name.
Mark, someone or other. I can't remember.
He was the one that had the bump with the Guitar Hero thing.
What about the skull man?
But it's Chris Brooks. I don't know, but he ain't going through anyway. Because representing Syria, the Sheik.
Oh.
That's where he was built from Syria.
Yeah.
And the Sheik's going to have him because he'd frighten me otherwise.
So, Jack, then give us both your semi-finals.
So, both semi-finals are Zandig versus India. Versus Sabu.
The whole of India.
And Abdullah the Butcher versus Atsushi Onita. The winners will be John Zandig, obviously, and Atsushi Onita.
Zandig fucking flies through every time he speaks.
He's got him.
My semi-finals is USA versus Ireland, Funk versus Finlay, and Japan versus Sudan. It's Anita versus Abdullah. I've got to find a way to make it Anita versus Funk, but I ain't got a clue where I'm going to do that with Abdullah in it. But the only ever count-out loss in a deathmatch.
God, that's proper deathmatch. It's all this blood and gore is counting. My semi-finals, it's USA v India, so Funk v Tiger Jeet Singh, Funk goes through. And the other semi-final, Sudan v Syria, Abdullah v the Sheik, and the Sheik goes through.
Nice. So, finals time then, Jack.
The final.
The biggest shot.
It's John Zandig representing America versus Atsushi Onita representing Japan. somebody's got to put him over, so I am putting over John Zandig. He is winning. I love you, Zandig. Never change. You are my hero.
Well, I've got Funk versus Anita. I think Funk would want to lose in a final rather than win in a final. So on that basis, I will honour Mr. Funk by putting Anita over.
Mine is Funk v Sheik, and I'll put Funk over.
Yeah,
somebody has to.
That's the right ending to this podcast anyways, that Terry Funk goes over. So there you have it, folks. There is plenty in the world of Deathmatch to pick from. So if you feel that there was a country we missed or a person we missed, head over to our website, which is bettercallcreative.org, our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCCpod, or our Twitter, which is @BCCpod. That is the month of September done. But we now start the spooky month of October. And what will we be revisiting next? Well, we will be seeing how wrestling deals with the ultimate phobia that everyone has of clowns, as we check out clowns through the history of wrestling. Could you suggest a clown that you might think will appear on the podcast, Sam?
Psycho Clown.
Yes, he might appear. Psycho Clown may appear. Who knows? Jack, do you want to dink? There you go. There you go. Get a dink in there. Put a bit of dink on it. Put a bit of dink on it. And we will be checking out the spookiest of all pay-per-views. Of course, it's Halloween Havoc 1991, which features some wonderful matches and the legitimate murder of a wrestler in the opening match.
That one.
Say you be. If you electrocute him,
You kill him. So yes, we'll be featuring Mr. Cactus Jack a bit more in that as he tries to justify. Yes, he tries to justify turning on an already on switch in a cage match, and also you've got the Creatures, their one and only appearance on this podcast. The return of Oz and Bill Kazmaier.
Yes.
Bill Kazmaier. We'll be watching it again. Thank God for Bill.
And Ron versus Lex
in the main event.
The main.
That's what everyone didn't want. It's Lex Luger versus Ron Simmons in the main event. If there was ever a worthy pay-per-view for our podcast, I get the feeling 1991 Halloween Havoc might be that.
Definitely.
But that leaves me to say from Headhunter number 1, it's Jack.
Goodbye.
From Headhunter number 2, it's Sam Chancellor.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, folks.
Teddy!
You know, it's with great pleasure and pride that I wear this World's Heavyweight Championship around my waist, because it means that I am the best in my profession.
Born on the banks of the Tennessee River 20-something years ago. Got a chip on each shoulder, mama tattooed on my chest. Mister, that was all she wrote. I'm a country badass. Where I'm from is where I'm at. A country badass. Son of a two-fisted, shoe-spitting, never leaving, looking back Texas. Hell-raising, girl-chasing, back to the bona fide. C-O-U-N-T-R-Y. A country badass.
If somebody don't pay attention to you, well, smack him. And by golly, he'll pay attention to you then.
I got the switchblade scar on the side of my face, down in some Juarez jail. I know there's two sides to every story, but dead men tell no tales. You're looking at a country badass. Where I'm from is where I'm at. A country badass. Son of a two-fisted, shoe-spitting, never leaving, looking back Texas. Hell-raising, girl-chasing, bad to the bona fide. C-O-U-N-T-R-Y. A country badass.
There is just one of me. You see, I am an individual, and I do what I want to.